Welcome to Life Preparations with Dorcas. And today we're going to be discussing why you prepare and you still fail. Have you ever wondered why you prepared and you failed? Well, today we're going to be talking about a few reasons why people plan, prepare, and still fail. Number one reason is that the preparation level was not adequate. So let's use the example of a student. So you have mathematics exam tomorrow and you have studied, you have prepared and all. But can I ask you, what was the goal in mind? Were you preparing to have an A, or you were preparing to have a C or an E? Now, whatever you wanted to get, A, C, or E, would determine the level of your preparation. If you just wanted an E for let my people go, your preparation level will not be as tough and as rigorous as that of somebody who is preparing to have an A. So you would have prepared in your mind, you're saying you want to have an A, but your preparation level was for somebody who was preparing for an E. It's not working. That wouldn't suffice. You would have to prepare for the level of success that you actually would want to achieve. And let's move on to number two, which is comparison. Have you ever found yourself comparing yourself to somebody? Example, let's take the example of a fashion designer who goes for this fashion show with beautiful designs, and then you get there and then you see this designer next to you that has some beautiful, designs, and you begin to doubt yourself. You begin to think that, oh, am I sure what I have is good enough, or the quality is high enough, or how can I walk on this runway with this kind of beautiful creation? Is my own so fantastic? Is my own authentic enough to get me what I want? Well, once you begin to question yourself, you doubt yourself, just know that you're going to start going down, 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 because you're already doubting yourself. So as you do the job of preparation, do let yourself know that you are enough and that you are going to make it. There is no reason whatsoever to compare yourself to somebody. If you want to compare yourself to somebody, compare yourself to yourself. It should be your own comparison. Moving on to number three, natural disaster. Most of the time, they're not good things. Example can be a flood, it can be a hurricane, it can be wildfires. So many different things can happen that you do not have control over, and I do not have control over. And guess what? You would have prepared, but I've never seen anybody who sits down to pray for a tsunami or sits down to pray for a flood, but these things do happen. At that point, when these things happen, please don't beat yourself up. It was not your making, it was not what you would have wanted, but since it has happened, it is time to just sit down, dust yourself, and ask yourself how you can move on from here, because these things are not your doing. Now, moving on to number four. Now we're going to be talking about inadequate discipline or even lack of discipline. Have you ever planned something in your head that I'm going to do this, and then somehow you start to fail? You planned, you prepared, actually you did, but because there was some level of discipline that you needed, you began to fail. For example, let's say you are renting this apartment and your rent is 1 million naira. I mean, Nigeria, so I'll be using naira for example. Now you want to pay for your house rent. So you know the time you're supposed to pay and you have prepared. And in fact, you even created a different account to say, I'll be putting X amount in that account. And guess what? You started, but along the way, you want to hang out with the boys, you take a little. You want to impress your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or it's somebody's birthday, and maybe you didn't plan for that birthday gift, you take out of it. One, two, three different things come up, and you're pinching and pinching and pinching out of this money that is supposed to be saved. Well, before you know it, the time will come for rent to be paid, and you may not be able to pay. You may be short of, let's say, 200k or 300k, depending on whatever the situation was. Does it mean you didn't plan? You did, because you even went ahead to open an account, just to be able to save for your house rent. So what am I saying in essence? Discipline is important. Maybe you were not disciplined enough, and then you now have to start cracking your head. Where do I get 200,000 or 300,000 naira to complete my rent? Sometimes you may not even have somebody to even loan from and say, "Can you loan me this? I want to pay for rent. As soon as I get it, I'll be able to give you back." So it is time to, think through some of these things. Okay, moving on to number five. Number five is really simple. Can you guess? Number five, you did not obey the instructions. I know that, you go to the pharmacy, you are given medication, and the doctor or the pharmacist is saying, take this thing, two tablets, three times a day. That was a clear instruction, but you went home and you were taking it one tablet once a day. I promise you, you will not have the same results. What about a student who is going for WAEC? We know most of us are Africans, in my climb here. And then there's West African Examination Council, which you write senior secondary school, your final year. And then you've prepared for this exam, you got to the examination hall, and the first thing to enable you pass that exam is to follow the instruction. And the instruction was number one is compulsory, and then after number one, answer any other two. And guess what? You didn't answer number one. You went ahead and answered all others and left number one. Guess what? Most of the questions that are compulsory would usually be weightier than others. Being weightier, I mean they may have more marks than others. So even if you answered whatever, as far as you didn't answer number one, there is a high chance that you're going to fail that exam, except maybe if there is something like a continuous assessment test or assignments or whatever that will help to buffer that your lack of following instructions. So today, I want to encourage you, obey instructions. They are lifesavers. Moving on, number six, which is a change in government policy. Well, so many things can happen. So let me use Nigeria for example. In the past few months, a lot of things have changed in Nigeria. And for business owners and everybody in Nigeria, most of us, well, let me not say everybody, most of us have felt the difference. There's been change in the tax. And so as a business owner, there's something that has changed. That was not your initial plan. You had a plan, but the VAT has changed. That is number one. Number two, another example is for somebody who deals with importation. You are importing things from so country to Nigeria, and let's say, for example, import duties have increased. So whatever amount you would have kept maybe to clear 10 containers may not be able to help you clear 10 containers anymore. You may be able to clear maybe 5 or 6. Now you need to start planning. You need to start rushing. How do I get money to be able to clear these containers? At this point, I would suggest that you give some room for miscellaneous. Remember, you're not the government and you do not have control over, the things that the government would come up with. You are not the government. So don't beat yourself up. You planned, you saved, but the government changed things. And it's not any fault of yours. So number 7, you got easily distracted. Distractions are everywhere in life, but now it depends on you to manage those distractions. Remember, you cannot throw stone at every dog that barks at you. Choose your battles. Take, for example, you got prepared on a very early Monday morning and you were well on your way to work. You entered the cab and you were moving well until somebody got you upset, and before you knew it, you started exchanging words. Before you knew it, you were exchanging blows. Whoa. And guess what? That fight happened. You got to the office really late. That Monday morning meeting held without you, or you entered in late. Just imagine how chaotic your day would have become as a result of not managing an earlier distraction in the day or in the morning. So here, I would like to say, keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on whatever you have set your mind to do In with this example, we have said you were going to the office. Focus on getting to the office and being productive, because trust me, once your day starts off on that note, it takes you some time to be able to put yourself back, on track and achieve whatever you were supposed to achieve for that day. You really don't want to get into trouble with your boss or say nasty things to your colleagues because a distraction wasn't well managed by you. And that could have been a reason why you didn't achieve it. So this one, I use an example of somebody going to work, but there just could be other examples. Choose your battles. All right, moving on to number 8. Super interesting. Number 8, you needed to fail. You heard me. You needed to fail. And it sounds really harsh, it sounds nasty, but there are times that we all at one point or the other would need to fail. Why? Sometimes, depending on how you take it, failure serves as a booster. It gives you energy to say, you know what, now that I've failed this one time, I will do the best I can within all the strength and resources God has given me not to fail again. I want us to use the example of secondary school. I don't know how it works now, but I know that when I was in secondary school, there was this thing called repeating. So it meant that you have to do this particular class again. And right in my school, I remember that it was a dreadful thing to repeat a class, because a lot of times you're already used to the people that are with you in your class. You do not want to go to the class, move on with the people that are behind you, especially if you've been nasty to them. And then here you are, you have failed, and the school has given a requirement. And guess what? You didn't get up to the minimum requirement, so you would have to remain in that class. And now you feel so sad. You don't even know. It's like let the ground open up and swallow you. Guess what? It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the road. Repeat that class or redo that thing. And guess what? You will come out better than you thought. I promise you. I have seen people that have failed or they've done that thing again and they've come out better. Do you know what they did? They learned to do things differently. One, they have accepted, okay, I have failed. And they have now asked themselves, what do I do now that I have failed? Next thing they do is to keep a mental attitude. The next thing they do is to analyze the situation. Okay, how did I prepare? What went wrong? How can I do it better? Okay, after they have analyzed that, the next thing they do is to come up with a new strategy. They re-strategize and say, okay, if I did it the first time this way, this time around, I will try it this way and see how it turns out. And let me tell you the truth, most people have come out better. Some people that I know that repeated the secondary school were able to find themselves. It was in the process of repeating, they were able to, think about the courses they wanted to study in the university. Some of them made better friends. They learned to make better decisions, and they are doing so well right now. If they don't tell you they repeated the class, you won't know. Sometimes you just needed the failure. Sometimes life is not always a sweet ride. It's not always a straightforward, and that's why life comes with its ups and downs. Yours may just be that failure. And it didn't mean you didn't prepare. Maybe you just didn't prepare well. And life has afforded you the second chance. Take the second chance and run with it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share to your friends and family. And yes, the notification button. Don't forget to click on that notification button so that once we drop these videos, you are going to be amongst the people that will know, and then you can watch it and learn and share to people who also learn with you. It is important that you share for others to learn what you are learning. Once again, have a beautiful day and thanks for watching.